Welcome, dear Sadkhas. This phase of learning upon which we have entered from the previous session is to be continued as a prolonged sessions. It may be from 6 months to 1 year, as the knowledge, the whole knowledge, complete knowledge range is being taken up simultaneously. This, in a way, is a very bold initiative for us to initiate ourselves to be parallel with the Vedic systems. From practical point of view, it means that we want that we shall comprehend and imbibe the entire range of values lively as Atharved Samhita. Atharved Samhita is a very big scripture. It is a complete scripture. It is the scripture of the applied values parallel with the pure values of Vedas. Means Atharved as a single Ved is going parallel with 3 Vedas, Rigved, Yajurved and Samved. Rigved, Yajurved and Samved together are 3 Vidya. These are the pure values of Vedic domain. Parallel with these values are the applied values, and these applied values make Atharved. Therefore, Atharved is the prime source from where we have to initiate ourselves, and in terms of which only we can have perfection of our intelligence. The perfection of intelligence is inherently embedded in this process itself. One will be silently acquiring perfection of intelligence with the comprehension phases and stages of this very course. Here, learning and teaching is going to be of different methodology. In fact, it is a unique Vedic method. This unique Vedic mathematics may be designated as mental process, and the mental process technique is being designated as meditation. So intelligence is in the process transiting and transforming as a wisdom. So in fact, we are going to be on the format of the way wisdom enriched intelligence can be learned and can be taught. This brings in the consciousness. So in addition to mind, we are touching the more basic domain of the consciousness, Chit. So it is Man, Buddhi, Chit and Ahankar. So Buddhi is a placement in between man and a chit. We have to begin with man, mind, and we have to have the process of creation of intelligence field, but the same is to be of perfection index only when this field, intelligence field, will be acquiring its consciousness foundation. Therefore, sadhkas are fulfilled with intensity of urge to be parallel with Vedic systems have to work more upon their own mind and consciousness than upon the scriptures. Scriptures are the mundane manifestation state of the consciousness-based intelligence. Vedic sounds are to be enlivened. So the mathematics as a speaking a language is to be comprehended and imbibed as living consciousness phenomenon. The mathematics as a speaking language is to transit and transform into consciousness flow process. Consciousness flow process is being accepted here as a Divya Ganga Parvah Transcendental content flow. The transcendental content flow from core of the sun through rays of the sun is the ultimate physical embodiment of the process. So, in fact, we are trying to be at phase and stage of the creation of intelligence field and acquisition of the consciousness format for the intelligence field. We have to move sequentially, and this sequential process will begin with Charma Chakshu, physical eyes, transcendental lords, domain, as space, Akash Tat, and then from there we have to sequentially transcend at the initial phase and stage of the creator, then to be of the reach of the Vishnu Lok. This sequence is the sequence which may be taken as the sequence of perfection of the intelligence field for acquiring consciousness foundation for the same. In the previous session, we have been through the very first Sukta of the first Kanda. It has been taken as the initiation Sukta, as here it is the process of Medha Janani. Medha Janan is wisdom enriched intelligence field creation process. And the second Sukta is Rog Upshamnan. It is this transition which will bring us face to face with as to how the existence phenomenon within human frame is essentially centered around the mind creating intelligence field and acquiring the consciousness base, and then the health, the dissolution of the diseases of their own as a natural process is the potential of this existence phenomena. Therefore, we have to be very, very slow or gentle in our steps. So first of all, we have to learn as to the manifestation of a Sthapatya miring rod as a synthetic setup of the representative regular bodies of 1 to 6 space, manifesting as a format for transcendental content flow. The flow of the transcendental content along the format of Sthapatya miring rod is parallel with the way the consciousness foundation manifests for the intelligence field within human body. And further, the same is to be parallel with, in fact, it is parallel with the flow of a Jyoti with the rays of the sun, Surya Rashmi. This is the foundational step. It is being designated as a Divya Ganga Parvah. This flow of the transcendental content of the format of a flow through the Bindu Sarovar of soul syllable Om. Now, let us have a visit to the composition of the word rogue. It is a composition of 4 letters. These quadruple letters of the word formulation rogue as a ref, okar, gakar, and akar are of TC values 3, 7, 3, 1. If we are along with this composition format as of the orientation from west to east and then from east to west, then its depiction will be as is on the computer screen on the top left. Here, the red point is the Bindu Sarovar, point reservoir, the first component of soul syllable Om. It is Brahman domain. It is 9 space domain. 9 space is having 7 space as its dimension. As such, this Brahman content will be of a flow of 7 streams parallel with 7 space playing the role of dimension of 9 space. And then, as is the enlightenment well preserved in Adi Valmiki Ramayana in its very first ballet Kanda, it conveys as that these 7 streams flow when enters the solar domain. The same has a flow format of 3 streams flowing towards east, 3 streams flowing towards west, and the central stream flows ahead. It is this flow format feature which is parallel with the organization of the solar universe as a northern hemisphere and a southern hemisphere. Each hemisphere is a complete sphere in itself. Therefore, the flow process for the existence phenomenon is to be as of 7 streams, 3 streams and 1 stream for each of the hemispheres. However, the northern hemisphere and southern hemisphere are reflection image of each other. These are of opposite orientations. However, if we take each hemisphere as a complete sphere, and if we take as that the flow format towards the east from earth to the sun is to be as of value 1 as the central stream, value 3 as the 3 streams which had a flow towards the west, and then we have to reach at the 7 streams. Then, unless and until we are cautious, we will complete the circle within a semicircle, and that will make it as a quadruple values 1, 3, 7, and 3. It is a rogue, it is a disease, it is to be met with. Atharved in the first Kanda, in its very first Sukta, is preserving the values for initiation of the process for enrichment of intelligence field as a wisdom because of the consciousness foundation of the intelligence field. And then this intelligence field is meant for dissolving the disease. It is here where we shall have a stop. We shall permit our mind to continuously remain in prolonged sitting of trance to comprehend and imbibe this feature of the organization of the life existence phenomenon on the earth in its both hemispheres, as each being a complete sphere. However, we have to ever remain conscious as that in fact the hemisphere which we are accepting as a full sphere is hemisphere. And if we want to have existence phenomenon parallel with the nature of the comprehension of the Vedas, then we have to continuously remind ourselves that we are in a hemisphere, and the other hemisphere which is there, but it is not there as far as the existence within each hemisphere is concerned. So how to complement this same is the learning. It is going to be a wisdom, and it is the value preserved here at the initiation stage itself as to the direction to be adopted by the intelligence field. Srimad Bhagwad Geeta is the essence of Vedanta, Vedanta Trayi. So we have to visit the organization of the text of Srimad Bhagwad Geeta as a text of 700 shlokas and 59 uvachas. This value 759 is the value which has 18 punctuations for the text, and the first is of value 47, which manifests as the shlokas range of Arjun Vishad Yog. Arjun Vishad Yog is the initiation phase and stage for the growth of intelligence field of Arjuna along the consciousness foundation, when he starts posing to himself all those questions which physically manifest before him. Now, the value 47 is the TC value of the formulation Medha Jananan. The Sukta 1 of first Kanda of Atharved Samhita is Medha Jananan. It is of value 47. It is this value, it is this initiation point which is being elaborated as Arjun Vishad Yoga. And then the Rog Upshamnan, the second Sukta, leads to value for Rog as 14 and Upshamnan as 31. Now 31 is 14 plus 17. 14 is the value of Sharir, body, and 17 is the value of Atma, soul. Therefore, this dissolution of the diseases within human frame, within human body, is to be by Atma. So this dissolution as of value 31 will bring us face to face with the gap value between 78 shlokas as value 78 for the last chapter of Gita, 18th chapter of 78 shlokas range. When it comes in a recycling for Punarjanam, then the first chapter will, as 47 shlokas range leading to value 47, will bring us face to face with 78 minus 47 is 31. Step ahead, when we will have a reach from the 47 shlokas range of chapter 1 to 72 shlokas range of Sankhya Yoga, chapter 2, the difference value is going to be 25. And see, this value is equal to the TC value of word formulation Pitram. Step ahead, chapter 3 of Srimad Bhagwad Geeta is a scripture of 43 shlokas range, and the difference value between the shlokas range of chapter 2 and 3 comes to be 29. This is parallel with Matram. Sukta 2 of Kanda 1 of Atharved Samhita is bringing to focus as to how the dissolution of disease, Rog Shaman, is to be there, how it is being attained, how it is planned, how it is organized, how it is destined for the existence phenomenon of individuals. And we know that the gap values of 18 chapters shlokas comes to be 284, precisely one more than 283, the total number of letters of Ganita Sutras, all 16 sutras. So Ganita Sutras are lively in the gaps, and in fact, it that way is the foundation. So it is the consciousness foundation. Value 16 is the value of Jeev, being. So the mind, Man, creates intelligence field, and consciousness foundation for it is supplied by Jeev. So Ganita Sutras, being the foundation-based organization, as such, the sadhakas are fulfilled with intensity of urge to be parallel with Vedic systems, have to be firstly parallel with the 16 Ganita Sutras, and then one is to be parallel with the organization of Srimad Bhagwad Geeta. And this way, we will be reaching Atharved Samhita. It will be blissful for us that we shall have a revisit to the organization. And for it, the first step is that we shall draw a table of TCV values of word formulations. And the second step is going to be that we shall draw a table of Kanda-wise suktas and mantras. There are 20 Kandas, and these Kandas are taking us to the value, total value for all the 20 Kandas being 758. It is 1 less than 759. The value 759 is the value of 700 shlokas of Gita plus 59 vachas of the text of Gita. Atharved Samhita as an organization, when is being applied by the Ganita Sutras, Eka Adhikain Purvain beginning, one more than that, it will take us to value 759. Atharved is the foundation of Gita. Gita is a sense of Vedanta. It is here where we have to revisit that the total mantras of the text of Atharved Samhita are 5,977. These are 23 less than 6,000. And value 23 is the TC value of Anant. And precisely there are 23 distinct shloka ranges of the organization of the text of Srimad Bhagwad Geeta as is being elaborated and is preserved in Urma Bhartam Bhisham Parva. The value 23, when is being tabulated as the ranges of shlokas, distinct shlokas of the text of Srimad Bhagwad Geeta, these will take us to basic 23 metals, dhatu. Like that, we have to begin with Atharved Samhita. We will reach back at Atharved Samhita. Each time we will be having such initiation and such reach, we will be having a flow, Divya Ganga flow. And once we are parallel with it, we will be parallel with the transcendental content flow through orb of the sun along its rays. This is going to be a natural phenomenon of intelligence field acquiring consciousness base. It is this wisdom enriched intelligence for which we have to be through these workshop like learning steps running over 6 months to 1 year. Thank you very much.